Test, test. Hey guys, welcome back. Bomb here, bringing you another one of our live deck profiles for the Digimon trading card game. So before we get into the video, you guys know the drill. Drop a like, subscribe, share all that good jazz. Today we're going to be going over the brand new jamming deck, why it's good, why it's amazing, and my decisions for playing each card. So I'm going to try to make this video a little bit shorter than the last one, but if you guys, I have one quick announcement. If you guys have not seen it, because I did mess up with the uploading of this video, things went wrong, don't worry about it, but I uploaded a 1 hour video discussing all of the set 3 cards, like their potential combos, what makes them good, why some cards are bad, and all that good jazz. So don't forget to check that out. It's going to be my most recent upload before this one. Is the discussing all cards from set 3 from Union Impact. So that one was a really good video. I uploaded it at like midnight back tonight. It was supposed to be noon the next day, but I guess it was midnight instead. So my bad. But that's my bad. So don't forget to check out that video if you guys want to continue supporting the Digimon content. And let me know in the comments down below. There's a million different decks we can build thanks to set 3. There's so many decks we can build. We can update old builds. We can do so many things. So let me know in the comments down below what is a deck you really, really want to see. And I will 100% build it and we'll test it. And once again, just like last time, I'm going to link in the description. I actually have a new playlist on the channel where I put my streams that I don't upload to the channel. So I leave the streams unlisted so that, you know, there's not like a ridiculously long video for you guys to look at in your sub box. So that's what I'm going to start doing from now on. So if you guys really want to see one of my Digimon streams, if you missed one or you couldn't stay for all of it, it's actually going to stay up on YouTube this time. And there's a stream for it on my channel, just called Digimon Streams, I think. And in those streams, I test the decks that I profile for these videos in those streams. So if you want to see, I think it's like a good 2 hours of actually it's not me playing it this time, it's my opponent testing out the deck list while I was playing it, while I was testing out Mistamon, which I'm going to do a video over at some point too. My opponent was playing my version of this blue deck right here, and it ran really, really well. So well that I wanted to make a video about it. So you guys know the drill. If you guys want to support not just me, but the Digimon community as a whole, like the video, share the content, all that good jazz. The more people we can get to see the videos, the more people that will be interested in playing the Digimon card game, and the more people we can get into this game, so this game can succeed the way we all want it to. So who's the star of the show here? We got Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode. This card's ridiculous, and the ability jamming is ridiculous. For those of you guys that are new to the game, jamming means when you do a security check, if the Digimon is stronger than you in the security check, you still defeat it anyways. You don't get destroyed in the process. Pretty much the only security problems that you might have, the only security things that might be a problem for you is going to be option cards. But other than that, the security is free reign, which is, as you can imagine, really, really good if you are a weak Digimon, or if you're afraid of things like Omnimod in the security and stuff like that. So jamming is a really strong ability, and this deck is all about rushing out your jammers and making them attack multiple times a turn. So Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode is the end goal of it. If this Digimon digivolve from Pale Dramon or Dino Beamon, the cost of Digivolution is reduced by 2. So it's a 3 evolution cost, standard Mega Evolution. It's got jamming, and when Digivolve, all of your Digimon with jamming become active. So you have a full board of jammers, then they all become active and can attack again, which is excellent for you. And I am getting a phone call, and it's nothing important, so I will deal with that later. All right. So let's discuss everything else about the deck. We'll start from the top here. I'm playing 2 Upamon, which is weird, right? Only 2 Upamon, the most busted card ever. That's because we have the brand new Demi Vmon, the new one from set 3, which when attacking, if this Digimon has jamming, draw 1 card. Now, almost all your Digimon that attack will have jamming. So in theory, this is more consistent than Upamon, but I still like Upamon because you still play things like Gabumon and you still play things like Gomamon. So having Upamon is still nice, Elecmon. So you have dudes that don't have jamming, but for the most part, you're going to be having jamming whenever you attack. So it's good to have Demi Vmon more than Upamon, but the numbers can be messed around here with here. As far as I'm not going to do the whole thing where I look over every single card in the game and why I don't play it like I did last time, but I will discuss some of the major cards. We'll go from there. Now for our let's go over the stats as well. Let's see where I can pull the stats. Boom, we are playing 14 level 3 Digimon. You could make that 15, 16, 14 seems to work well for me. We have a lot of like level, we have some 4 play level 4s, some 5 play level 4s. Things are not too expensive in this deck, so I'm only playing 14 for the time being, but you can play more if you like. Of course, we are playing 4 Elecmon, the cheap boy himself. We are playing Gabumon, because Gabumon's ridiculous. Draw a card when played. We are playing the new Vmon that has jamming. So you now have a level 3 that has jamming, which is kind of absurd if you think about it, because now you have this baby Digimon that can just take security whenever it wants for the most part and not have to worry about being destroyed in the process. So jamming alone is great, and then that pairs well with this X Vmon here. When Digivolve, one of your level 4 or less Digimon become active. So you Digivolve into this X Vmon, and then you make another one of your jammers active, and then you can attack again with your jamming Digimon. So that's really, really good. We also have 2 Gomamon. You know, you can increase this some more. It's just more short, more small, cheap cards that you can play into this deck to add consistency. We are playing 4 Frigimon because he has jamming, and jamming is good. So we are playing 4 Frigimon in this deck list, 4 X Vmon, and 2 Vidramon. You can increase Vidramon a bit if you want to play more level 4s. I'm only playing 10 right now, but you can easily increase that number. It has jamming if you have a tamer down. The reason why I'm only playing 2 as opposed to anything else. And then for our level 5s, we are playing the 2 boys that matter, Paildramon, which has, you guessed it, jamming. And when attacking, as an evolution source skill, when attacking once per turn, if this card's name contains Imperial Dramon, this Digimon becomes active. So it's pretty nice. So here's a strat, right? So you attack with Paildramon, you have jamming. All right, you Digivolve into Imperial Dramon, you have jamming, so you attack again. And then if you have Paildramon as your Digivolution source, you become active again. So you essentially get 3 jamming hits with 1 Digimon if you evolved an attack and had the memory to evolve and all that good jazz. So yeah, it's a pretty good card. It's a pretty good card. We are playing 4 Dino Beamon because it has piercing, and do I even need to say it? It's got jamming as well. It's a green Digimon, but it does evolve from blue Digimon. And Imperial Digimon does evolve from green Digimon as well. And piercing is just good. Piercing is actually really good in this deck because if your opponent plays a lot of blockers and you can't do anything, you can't start abusing your jamming. You can't be the by the way, I call this deck Imperial Jam because that's just a great name. You can't be the Imperial Jam that you are if your opponent has a lot of blockers. But if you have piercing and jamming, you get to take out a blocker and do a security check with jamming. It's great. It's excellent. It is 3 to evolve, which is the expensive part about these level 5s, but their abilities are well worth it. We've already talked about Imperial Dron, but there is another Imperial Dronmon Dragon mode, a green version, which unfortunately doesn't have jamming. But it does have piercing. We're only playing it as a 1-of. The reason why we're only playing it as a 1-of instead of like a 2-of or 3-of or 4/4 line is because you actually can't evolve into Omnimod because of the green Digimon, not a blue one. So it's kind of just here to be more Imperial Dramon. And piercing is really good in this deck, specifically for those blocker heavy decks. So it's nice to have access to piercing. And not to mention, when you're playing jamming, right, your opponent wants to rush you. And if they rush you, almost all the time their Digimon are going to be rested. So being able to punish them for rushing you by taking a bunch of security with piercing is really, really good. And once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon is destroyed in battle with this Digimon, put this Digimon active. So it can pierce twice, which is great. Which is still 2 security checks, assuming you don't get destroyed by like an Omnimod or something with equal strength. Because we don't have any strength boosters in this deck, but because you don't need it, because you got jamming. Like, well, you don't need strength boosters. I'm also testing out one Leopardmon. It hasn't really come into play yet, but so Leopardmon's cool, right? Let's talk about Leopardmon. It is a 4 cost to play, which is really expensive. But when played, you play level 4 or less Digimon from one of your Digimon's Digivolution sources without paying its cost. So you can pull out a jammer from your Digivolution sources, and all your level 4 or less Digimon have jamming, I should say. So it's good in theory. It's similar to Metal Garurumon, but you don't have to attack to put the Digimon out on the board. But Leopardmon doesn't have jamming. Doesn't even have piercing. And almost all of your level 4s and level 3s have, actually not all your level 3s, but a good chunk of your level 4s have jamming. A good chunk of your level 4s will have jamming, and then your level 3s will have jamming. And usually the only Digimon you're going to have on the board are Digimon with jamming. These dudes will just evolve into Digimon that will have jamming eventually, so these dudes will never attack regardless. And it's kind of one of those things where, like, by the time we evolve into our Leopardmon, you'll probably be too close to winning the game anyways. So honestly, what I want to do is cut out a Leopardmon and maybe play another Vmon, or you can go up to 15 of the Gomamons. But Leopardmon is still good because you're going to have games where you have so many level 4s down, and just having access to that dude that can make all your level 3s and 4s have jamming is really good. I think I'd rather do this though. But at the same time, I'm not too sure if I want another Vmon or another level 3. That just comes with testing. For now, I'm going to do another Vmon so we have more level 4s so that we can evolve quickly. The reason why Vidramon is kind of like so is because we only play 2 tamers in this deck. So I'm in the air about it, but you know, that's what I like so far. Of course, we are playing Omnimod because Omnimon's ridiculous, destroys all Digimon with the same name, which could be really useful sometimes, and you can attack twice with this dude. And with 15,000 power, you pretty much have jamming. Of course, we are playing Vulcan's Hammer, and because this deck is all about, like, you know, taking your security, you don't want your opponent to be building up ridiculous cards that can mess you up. So I like having the removal option in Ice Wolf Claw, and I like to play it as a 4-of personally. In this deck in particular, I wouldn't play this in most other blue decks, but in this deck I like it. Return one of your opponent's Digimon back into their hand. The Digimon's evolution sources are discarded. The reason why I like it so much is, hear me out, right? Black. Craniamon. This card it goes past Craniamon because you're not destroying the Digimon, you're putting it back in the hand. So you can put Craniamon back in the hand, and now all of a sudden, black decks are a lot easier to handle. Because black decks are probably going to be a bane to you since they have so many good blockers, and Craniamon is such a good card. So having Ice Wolf Claw to deal with Craniamon, and then subsequently all of the other blockers that could be on the board, is going to be really, really happy. Is going to make you really, really happy, especially when you go against black. I have a feeling like black's going to be kind of crazy, but I haven't tested black, so I can't say for sure yet. Of course, we are playing the Hammer Boy himself because the Hammer Boy is always good. And I'm actually choosing to play 2 Davis in this deck. You could bump it up to 3, or you could play other Tamers. We'll take a look at all the other option cards we can play, all the other options of cards, not option cards themselves, we can play in a second. But I like Davis a lot. Davis is essentially like draw 3, but you pick it. Being able to look at the top 3 cards of your deck when your whole deck is blue and green means that, except for Omnimon, you get to choose what you want to add to your hand from the top 3 cards of your deck, which is actually pretty big because this literally doesn't have it. It's just add it's a blue Digimon or a green Digimon, right? So you can't add these things, but like that's the majority of your deck. So unless you get really unlucky and get like your option cards and Omnimon, you're usually going to be getting a Digimon of your choice. And when you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you get a lot of options. And you got to see in the matchups that we did, there were multiple times where my opponent got a green Digimon, so he was able to get both Dino Beamon and a blue card into his hand as well. So Davis, I actually really like the most out of all of the Tamers. But if we were to look at blue Tamers real quick, we have a few options. I do talk about this a lot in my video, but I don't like the memory gaining Tamers for a very big reason. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But there's Matt. I don't really care about getting rid of my opponent's evolution sources. And we don't have to rest our Tamers on All Force Vidramon. We don't have to worry about that. There's Joe. If you discard the evolution sources, we don't do that. Rena is actually interesting because we do play Vmons in our deck. So it's fine, but the power increase is unnecessary because we are a jamming deck, and we don't play enough Vmons for it to be like that useful. Same with like Taichi. We don't play enough Vmons, but Taichi I like the most because being able to draw a card is really nice, but it doesn't give you that 3 memory to start with, which is the main reason why I'm playing Davis, because as you can see, we have a lot of 3-cost evolution cards, so having access to that, having access to the 3 memory at the beginning of your turn is really, really strong, really, really nice in this deck. And that's it for the most part. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other options, especially level 6s. When it comes to blue decks like these, it's kind of important to look at the level 6s because blue has so many good options for level 6s. And realistically, the only blue level 6 we have is Imperial Dramon. We have this green level 6, but like the reason why it's important for it to be blue is because of Omnimon. And honestly, I could see you guys cutting out Omnimon altogether if you don't think Omnimon is that good. I just like having that big power boost of a card. So having access to Omnimon is nice. The more important cards that we can look at here is things like Metal Garurumon. If you play level 4 less Digimon from your Digimon Digivolution source as a separate Digimon when attacking, It's good. It is definitely good, but it doesn't really. I mean, it's nice. If I were to play up more blue Digimon, I'd probably go with Metal Gurumon, right? I just don't feel like it's necessary because this deck plays really similar to Rookie Rush in a sense, because you don't need to evolve to a level 6 to win the game, because you naturally have so many jammers that can just attack, and then your opponent has to attack your jamming Digimon, and if they're attacking your jamming Digimon, they're not taking security. The only reason why it's good to have these high evolution card costs is so we don't lose to things like the new Omegamon, Alter S, and Volcanic Dramon and stuff like that. We still want to have these expensive, like, high DP Digimon, so we don't lose to those cards. And so I don't feel like we need a bajillion different level 6s for that play to work out. Other than that, there's nothing that's too relevant. I mean, we have the new Goldramon. If you play another Digimon, this Digimon becomes active. That's nice, I guess. But once again, nothing really plays into our strategy the way that we want to. We are a deck that plays jamming. Now, one thing you could do is you could play more jamming cards in this deck list, but because we're a blue deck, we want to keep the consistency of being a blue deck. And I can't really think of what else to talk about, really. Because the deck is so simple, right? You just play a bunch of dudes that have jamming. Which we have, we don't have the most amount of jammers, but we have 4 of these, we have 4 of these, we have 2 of these, 3, I guess, right now. Then we have our level 5s that have jamming. So usually we can evolve up pretty safely. And that's the cool part about this deck, right? While you're busy evolving up into your dudes that have jamming, you can attack with the smaller dudes that have jamming. Let them be knocked out. Who cares? Let them be deleted. Nobody cares. Then all of a sudden you have a level 4th jamming. Let that one be deleted. Who cares? You're evolving into other level 4s, like this XVmon. That's going to make you attack again. And then that one is never going to attack because you're going to use that one to evolve into Pyledramon. And then Pyledramon is going to evolve into Pyledramon. It just plays really consistently and really powerfully, and just it's always, it feels bad. It always feels bad whenever your opponent uses jamming on you, and then you flip over your Omnimon and you're just like, yes, and then you realize that, oh no, they have jamming. So it's just a speedy deck. So if you like quick games, then this is the deck for you. But I'm going to make the video short here. I didn't want to make this one a 40-minute video like I did last time. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this deck. And let me know if there's anything that you want to add, or maybe you don't like this card in this deck, so I want to put more of this, or you feel like there's not enough level 3s, you feel like things like that. But like, we can even do things like roll opening hands here. Like our opening hands are pretty much always going to be good, although this one's not the best. I wish this was our opening hand. Although having XVmon is super strong. If we can get ourselves one of these dudes, which are both in the security, it's awkward, but it's fine. And then we have, we get plenty of, look at this hand. We've got so many good options. We're constantly getting good options. I do say though that I do want to say that having even more of the tamer could be useful. And if you do want to play more tamers, right, you could very easily play another Davis. And then if you play another Davis, you can more comfortably play more of the Vidramons. And then you could play 12 Vidramons, 3 tamers. Well, this hand sucks. You can just do this just to look at how we always have opening plays and evolution plays. And we have these removal cards too, which is really, really nice. A bunch of cheap Digimon we're going to play, take security as quickly as possible, and have removal cards, some sort of control, some sort of memory control. Unless your opponent plays those Digimon that like stop you from gaining memory, which is fine. Eventually they'll remove them, or you knock them out, or you use Omnimod and be all like, hey bro, get rid of that card for me, please. But as you can see, all of my opening hands have a thing, except for this one apparently. This one's actually really bad. Yikes. But pretty much all my opening hands will have 2 or 3 level 3s to go with, so it's pretty handy dandy. Anyways, that's gonna be the video, guys. I probably stop talking now. I'll talk to you guys. Oh, by the way, check out the playlist of all the Digimon deck profiles we were doing. Let me know in the comments down below, like super important. Let me know in the comments down below what decks you guys want to see me profile and play in the future. We will continuously have streams, and those streams will be the profiles and the will essentially be the battle part of these videos. That way, I know some people skip the whole battle parts because nobody cares. But if you want to go watch the battle parts, you can easily just go and watch the streams. Those videos, I'm pretty sure they're not monetized or anything like that. So those are just like free content for you guys as always. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.